So I'll go a little more in depth to each of the stages. So in stage 1, as I alluded to on the previous slide, this is the first generation departmental level intranet, and it is used primarily for communication and sharing of static content. It's generally been established by entrepreneurial employees and focuses on a department's purpose and activities to the rest of the company, and typically sponsored by mid-level managers within the departments. It can also be very beneficial to HR and allow for information sharing to employees. And it's especially relevant for companies who have undergone a merger or acquisition to develop a sense of one company. In stage 2, the self-service intranets focus on delivering HR and other business unit-related services to employees across the company. More advanced intranets in this stage integrate legacy HR and finance systems for the display of personalized employee information, such as pay stubs, vacation balances, benefit information, reporting lines, and purchasing authority. The challenge is, if you can't measure it, you can't track it. So agreeing on which metrics are important and how they are defined is critical.
That's right, Valerie. It's important to clearly understand where your HR team is spending their time. This will help you to prioritize options in your self-service solution. So, for example, if you find that you're spending time in the administration of your benefits plans, and who doesn't, you'll likely want to offer in self-service options like updating dependents and submitting claim forms in this stage.
So in, excuse me. So in stage 3, what is a consolidated workplace? So in this stage, transformation is complete and processes are fully integrated and provide that seamless user experience. There's also typically performance analysis and dashboarding tools. And the full end-to-end integration of processes and applications through integration with your ERP system, such as SAP or another line of business application. Excuse me. Imagine how much time would be saved for a typical workflow. For example, consider a promotion and all of the information that needs to be updated, shared, and communicated across the organization. Everyone needs to know that the person's title has changed, their department potentially has changed, benefits and their salary and comp model has changed. Direct reports have now been updated. The org chart needs to be modified. Application security levels need to be modified, as well as approval limits and authorizations within the organization. These are all examples of steps in the process that can be automated. You'll notice on this slide that we have transparency as both a strength and a weakness. It's important that the organization is transparent around the information they share and the processes, and the employees also need to know that the information that they're getting is the same, whether it's accessed through the self-service model or directly through HR or another business unit. An early step self-service can represent a significant transformation towards self-reliance, which can sometimes be perceived as negative by employees who feel they already have mounting workloads. So if you think of the cost savings, if we use an activity-based costing, it's possible to compare current state with minimal or no automation to future state with automation. The difference is the time and labor savings. This approach is good to justify any process improvements through HCM technologies as long as the current processes exist. And examples where this could work well is think about HR record keeping and any processes impacted by self-service. So, for example, a salary change process goes from a manual cost with some automation, such as shared files and email, of $33.50 per activity for labor and materials, to $18.26, yielding a 45% savings on a per-process basis. This, again, will vary by company and industry, as each of you are unique. How is this possible? Well, if you consider taking the total time for all roles involved in this activity, so the manager, the employee, and the HR and IT staff as applicable, involved in this process, pre-automation, and then post-automation when using self-service. Then it's simple math to develop potential cost savings in any organization by multiplying the cost times the number of expected transactions per year before and after implementing the given application. An important note is you must redesign your processes and job roles as well to take advantage of these cost savings in the form of either headcount reduction or to take advantage of any productivity savings with redirected work. So what are some of the common challenges? What's holding back the efficiency of your self-service intranet portal? First could be availability. So how many of your employees have ready access to a computer or a secure private area to review information? If you think about manufacturing and retail sectors, for example, where employees don't necessarily have IDs and or ready access to a computer, you need to think of ways to provide that to them. I think also enabling single sign-on and providing integration with your existing legacy systems can be frustrating for some employees if you have to log on to 10 different applications to actually complete one process. You also need to consider that any processes you have offline are not easily transferable online. And employees, there's going to be change management because employees may also resent having to complete forms online versus going directly to HR and talking to that person and having the HR person do it for them. And then from a manager self-service perspective, there's increased complexity in the manager transactions today, and some managers prefer to do it the way they've always done it in the past. And we've also seen some reluctance to let go of oversight and control by the HR staff themselves.
Regardless of industry, what you see are the common areas that can be automated. These are also the same areas that employees have a high likelihood of looking for on their portal. So let's take a look at stage 2. Employees will be able to access their pay statement and see what deductions were made. Also, with the benefits plans, they can confirm deductibles, unused balances, confirm the claiming process, even their group number and employee ID. Another area is vacation. This tends to be popular for questions. And employees will be able to quickly look up balances available to them for the year.
So what are some of the best practices that you need to consider? So first of all, you need to think about the Google effect. So, there's the concept of digital natives versus digital immigrants. So digital immigrants are those like me that didn't have computers when they were growing up, and the digital natives don't know life prior to the cell phone and the internet. When you're competing for top talent in a global web-enabled playing field of these digital natives who value collaboration and these cool new technologies more than security and remuneration. So meeting their expectations in this internet-savvy workforce where information can never be more than 2 or 3 clicks away. And they'll ask questions like, if Amazon knows who I am, how come my employer doesn't? And Deloitte research demonstrates that those younger employees, in 20 to 26, studied in 6 countries, which included Canada, were more likely than older employees, 50 to 59, to utilize email, instant messaging, and the company intranet to research benefit goals and events. Why? The very technologies that today's older workers grew up with created habits and preferences that have been understandably hard to shake. The same research also indicates that those employees who use that technology are also hungry for communications from their company. And tech-savvy workers of any age place a higher importance on communication in the workplace than their peers who use the technology infrequently. What are some of the benefits that you can expect? There's some quick wins that you can have, and you have to think about the old adage of reducing employee overhead. Yes, while it's important to a lot of organizations, it's not really as popular right now. Instead, you need to imagine that you can reduce your administrative demand and shift those resources to more strategic objectives, whether it's within HR or across the organization. You want to have less duplicated effort responding to inquiries and focus on those strategic initiatives, including hiring that top talent. Excuse me. You also want to consider, the improved convenience and reduced frustration for employees. You want to cater better to that new generation to actually get the adoption that you need, and that so users are not going to abandon your system. And this will have a direct correlation to your employee satisfaction and retention. And then if you think of think about reduced training costs, right? So by providing self-service training in a collaborative self-service environment, the company can achieve its growth objectives at a lower cost. And then outside of the self-service realm, portals can allow institutional knowledge to be captured as Canada's boomers approach retirement. So how can Ideaca help? Ideaca has proven experience implementing self-service portals and assisting clients achieving the level of user adoption that will result in both the hard and soft savings. And this experience allows us to add additional value to our clients that other consulting companies cannot. So in this slide, we have some sample accelerators and tools. And these accelerators and tools will not fit every client, but they will meet 60 to 80% of your needs and provide a solid baseline to start from. We have generic as well as industry-specific tools and templates, including those in retail, financial services, construction, property management, energy, mining, manufacturing, logistics, and hospitality. So with that, this is the end of the webinar. I'd like to thank you very much for attending today, and we sincerely do appreciate your time. Jamie, is there any questions?
So I've been keeping an eye on the chat, and I have seen 3 come across there. Sorry, just need to turn the speaker over here. So the first one that I saw come across was, what have you found to be the most challenging area?
So typically at most companies, the biggest challenge we find is around change management. You know, changing the culture can be quite significant in some companies, and then, you know, ensuring your user adoption. So in order to ensure it, you need to know what is your definition of success and how are you going to measure it. And then again, around training and communication as well.
All right, thank you. And there was a second question, just around the concept of how small is too small of an organization to realize benefits from a self-serve portal?
So I think any company could actually achieve benefits from self-service, but generally an organization with 100 or more employees, they can see some significant benefits and return on investment.
Okay. And finally, there was a third question just around working in a manufacturing environment with very little access to computers. So how could this solution potentially benefit them? And maybe what are some alternatives?
So I think typically in manufacturing and retail, you know, there are definitely some options to providing access to the self-service. You know, if you think about using kiosks, for example, or providing time for your staff to actually have a coffee break where they'll go and spend 10 or 15 minutes actually searching the intranet. And in reality, if you think about it, everybody has some kind of access to computers. You just need to understand how your employees will access it.
Okay. So we'll just wait here for a few seconds. If anyone does have any additional questions, feel free to pop those in the chat. Just wait a few seconds.
Yep.
And in the meantime, I just wanted to let everyone know that we will send a copy of the deck out today. We'll package that up for you. As well, we'll be sending a link probably within a week or so to a recording of this webinar, if you wanted to share it with any of your colleagues who may not have been able to attend today. And just keeping an eye on the chat, and it doesn't seem as though there are any more questions. So I guess at this point, we'll leave you to your lunch, and really appreciate you taking time out of your day, and hope you have a great one.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.